are three visa categories that you can still use to migrate to the UK if you're an international applicant or if you're a foreigner looking to migrate to the UK. I know that currently it's become very, very difficult because the UK government has made it more expensive for UK employers to recruit foreign national because now they have increased the minimum salary threshold from £26,200 per year to £38,700 per year. So now it has become very, very expensive for UK employers to recruit foreign nationals or foreign workers. However, there are still three ways that you can come to the UK as a foreigner or as a foreign trained personnel that is still working till date. So if you're interested, watch this video to the end. Stop that. Hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. On this channel I talk about nursing, I talk about migration to the UK and life in the UK as an immigrant in general. If these are topics that interest you, please do consider subscribing. As you all know, the UK government or the UK Home Office said that net migration was at its record high, meaning the number of people that came into the UK were way more than the number of people that left the UK. And they said this has been a burden on the UK NHS, they are struggling, blah 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 blah. As part of their ways to cut down net migration, as you all know, they stopped international students from bringing dependents. Now they said care workers can no longer come with dependents, and so forth and so forth. Another thing that they put in place to cut down net migration was to make it more difficult for UK companies or UK businessmen to recruit foreign personnel, because as you all know, lots of companies were given their permission to recruit foreign nationals, and then they were given the opportunity to pay foreign nationals a bit less than usual, and then they'll still qualify for a visa, what we call the minimum salary threshold. However, now the government has made it a bit more difficult because now they said that if you want to recruit a foreign personnel, initially you should have been paying this person £26,200 per year, and that was okay. That could get the person a visa to come to the UK. Now they said that no, if you want to bring to pay the person £38,700 per year. So obviously these UK companies are going to say that it is too expensive. They'll rather focus on those in the UK rather, because if they have to bring you and they have to pay you this amount of money, that is too much. And that was a way that the UK government or the Home Office brought in place to cut down the number of people coming into the UK, and I think it's working. However, these three ways I'm going to show you is still a way that as a foreign trained person you can still work in the UK. So the first one is new entrant. This is not very common, not lots of people have heard it, but it's quite good and I want you to listen carefully. Okay, so let me read it. It says, under the skilled worker route, employers can sponsor workers on a salary that is lower than the general threshold if the worker is a new entrant to the UK labour market. So to qualify as a new entrant at the start of their career, the applicant must meet one or more of the following requirements. So under the skilled worker route, an employer can still bring a foreign personnel to the UK, get this person a skilled worker visa, come to the UK and work under what we call a new entrant rule. But you should meet certain requirements, one or more of the following, and that can still make it possible for an employer to recruit you. Meanwhile, they are not expected to pay that £38,700 a year. They can still pay you a lower wage and you still be able to come. So what are the requirements? Listen carefully. Remember, you should meet at least one or more. So one, the applicant should be under the age of 26 on the date of the visa application. The second thing, the job for which the applicant is being sponsored for is a postdoctoral position in any of the following shortage occupation codes, like 2020 shortage occupation code. So either your job is under chemical scientists, biological scientists, biochemists and biomedical scientists, physical scientists, social and humanities scientists, natural and social science professionals not elsewhere classified, other researchers, unspecified discipline. And the last one is higher education teaching professionals. If you're coming to do a postdoctoral position in any of these occupations, you qualify to come under the new entrant. The UK employer can still pay you less than what is required and you still be eligible for the new entrant visa under the skilled worker route. Either you are under age of 26 on the date of application, or the job is a postdoctoral position under any of these professions that I have mentioned. What is the other point? The job for which the applicant is being sponsored for in the UK is a regulated UK profession, and the applicant is working towards a recognized professional qualification for that profession. Either the job that you're coming to do in the UK is a regulated profession. When we say regulated profession, we mean like, let's say, nurse, because nurses are regulated by the Nursing and Midwifery Council. Like say doctors, because they are regulated by the General Medical Council. Like say pharmacists. So you can actually go on Google and Google UK regulated professions. If you're coming to do any job under any of these professions in the UK that are regulated, and then you are working towards a recognized professional qualification under this particular profession, you qualify to come under the new entrant under the skilled worker visa route. Remember, you don't have to meet all of these points. You should meet at least one of the following. The next thing is the applicant's most recent permission other than a visitor was as a student, and if that permission has expired, it must have expired less than 2 years before the date of application. So let's say you've already been to the UK before, then your last visa should not have expired more than 2 years ago, unless it was a visitor visa. But if it was expired way more than 2 years ago, you don't qualify to come under this route. The applicant's most recent permission other than a visitor visa was a graduate, and if that permission has expired, it must have expired less than 2 years before the date of application. So that means even if you came to the UK as a student and when you applied for a postgraduate visa, it shouldn't have expired more than 2 years before the date of application of your new entrance visa under the skilled worker route. So if you meet any one of the following, you qualify to come under the new entrance route, and an employer can still recruit you and then still be paying you a lower salary, and you still be eligible for a skilled worker visa. That's good news, right? Yes. So let me read more. It says, under the new salary thresholds, new entrants must be paid a salary that equals or exceeds £30,960 per year and 70% of the going rate for the occupation. A lower salary can also be paid for new entrants in certain health and education occupations where the going rates are based on a national pay scale. In this case, new entrants must be paid a salary that equals or exceeds £23,200 per year and 70% of the going rates for the occupation. If the job that you're coming to do is under health or is under education and are based on national pay scale, like teachers, like nurses, doctors, blah blah blah, if your job is on a national pay scale, you qualify to come under a much lower rate, which is £23,200 in a year. Now, that's the first way you can come if you're an international person willing to come to the UK. If you meet any of these requirements, you can still come to the UK. So do not give hope yet. I mentioned that I was going to give 3. So what is the second way? The second visa is an international graduate visa. It says that the UK graduate visa allows international students to stay in the UK and look for work and at any skill level after completing their course in the UK institution. Undergraduate and master's degree students can stay for up to 2 years on a graduate visa, whilst PhD students are usually allowed to stay for up to 3 years. The route is not sponsored, so that means when you're done with school here and then you apply for the graduate visa and then you get it, you don't need a certificate of sponsorship to start the job. You can just start immediately. However, they don't allow you to extend the graduate visa. So that means if you're a graduate and then after school, let's say you came to do your master's here and then you were given 2 years postgraduate work visa, you cannot extend it. If after 2 years your employer still needs you, they should give you sponsorship to be able to keep the job. Other than that, you'd have to go back to your home country. So that is another way to stay in the UK or to get a job in the UK. So for those who are currently doing their masters here, or for those who are hoping to come and do their masters here, there's another option that you should look at. You qualify to get a 2-year graduate visa, and after you are done, you can speedily, look for a good job that has potential of recruiting you whilst you are still here. There's so many jobs that will give you 6 months probation, and then if you let them know from the get-go you require a visa, stay in the job after your 2 years. Some of them will let you know straight ahead if they are willing to give you a sponsorship in the future, or if they are not, you're going to look for another job, especially if you have intentions of staying here, because after the 2 years you cannot extend the visa, and after the 2 years as well you require sponsorship to stay in that job. So that's another way to still come to the UK and work even with all what is going on. Let me also say that the Migration Advisory Committee has been tasked with reviewing the graduate visa route. Hopefully, maybe very soon we're going to hear an update on the changes that is going to come under this particular visa category, but for now you can't do that. Let me just say that this video is proudly sponsored by Lemfi. Lemfi is an international money transfer app, that allows you to send money from the UK, US, and Canada to over 10 different African countries. Talk about Ghana, talk about Nigeria, talk about Benin, Rwanda, Cameroon, and so many other countries, and with no transfer charges, 0 transfer charges. As a matter of fact, if you also use the referral code NANEL and then you make a first transfer of about £100 or $150 or Canadian dollars, you qualify to get either £10 or as much as $20 or 30 Canadian dollars as a bonus. And remember that no transfer charges, and they have the best rates ever. Thank you, Lemfi, for sponsoring today's video. Usually, if you come to the UK to do a degree course or a master's course or above, you're usually allowed to work 20 hours a week, and then when you're on vacation, you're allowed to work full-time. And for those that are doing courses below degree level, you can work for as much as 10 hours per week. This is another way also to enter the UK work market or the work sector. I also want to use the opportunity to say that as you are a student doing 20 hours a week, and when you're on vacation, you're doing full-time job, you have to be smart. Don't just do the 20 hours at any job that that you get. As for the job, you're likely to get it and get it easily. But remember that if you have intentions of staying in the UK, you should look for jobs that when you are done, the companies are likely to give you visa sponsorship. So if you are doing an agency job where you're posted here today, you're posted here tomorrow, and then another day you're posted here, you'll not be able to build a relationship with any employer or any company. However, if you get a 20-hour contract in a particular company and then you work your ass off when you get there, you work your ass off, you make sure you're doing the right thing, they know that you're a good person. After your program, let's say 1 year, or even before your program ends, you let them know that you're going to be going back to your home country very soon because you require a visa to work. And before this, you should have done your research already to know that there are people in that company who are on visa sponsorship. That means if they are on visa sponsorship, that means that that particular employer or company has sponsor license and they can recruit foreign personnel. So if you are working there part-time or on a 20-hour per week contract and on full-time when you're on vacation, then you have hope that if you work your ass off and then you do the right thing, in future when you need them to apply for visa sponsorship, are you willing to do that? My company that I work for, I know of 3 students, 2 Nigerians and 1 Indian, who started coming to work for us on a student visa. But they worked very, very hard. They were very, very good. And after they graduated, they've been maintained. They've been given visa sponsorship and are now on skilled worker visas. Why? Because they started working for the company for months. And in my company, the rule is that they have to see you work for at least 6 months and then know that you're a good worker, and then they can give you visa sponsorship. They will not give you visa sponsorship from the very, very beginning. And these people, I'm sure, did their research before they came to the company to know that the company has a sponsor license. And now they've been recruited in the system. Now they have skilled worker visas, legit skilled worker visas, working for a very brilliant company, and it is because they worked with us for over 6 months. So the company knew that they are good. They've not had any issues. They are punctual. They work hard. So that way, when they are giving you visa sponsorship, it's okay for them, not when you're just coming to use them. You understand? This is another way as well. If you come on a student visa and you're allowed to do 20 hours a week, do this research well and have this plan in your mind before your time is up for you to go back. But then remember, you can also use a graduate worker visa period to also do something or find a good job that'll give you visa sponsorship. Or if you qualify as a new entrant, you can also use that to stay in the country and work. So these are the main 3 visa categories that can really help you get a job in the UK and work or relocate to the UK permanently as a worker. I hope this was a benefit to you. If you got any benefits, kindly like this video and subscribe as well if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.